Hi everybody, welcome back to the Diving Deep podcast. Today we're going to talk about breaking free from societal norms and following your truth.
Yeah, we really think this is going to resonate with a lot of creators out there. So if you're a creative or just someone who's got a pull towards something but isn't quite fully letting themselves do it because they're scared or they're not quite sure where it's going to lead them, we feel like this podcast is really going to help you to really push for what your inner calling is and what you want to go and do but are too afraid to.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to dive right in. Yeah, this is an interesting topic, isn't it?
Especially for us, I feel like it resonates quite deeply for us.
Yeah, and I think anyone who's any kind of creative, but actors especially, there's like that feeling of, you kind of get into a phase of running, like how you go about life, isn't it? And it's very difficult to have space.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you're trained to do. You think as an actor, you from a young age, you're followed to train that path of go to school, study drama, go to college, then go to uni or go to drama school.
Yeah.
And then you get a job and then you go to London and then it's all very like building blocks. But I think it's all very good on paper, but it's not what it actually is. I don't think that's the same for any creative, like musicians, anyone who's...
Yeah, and I think it's that way of going about life and that way of working your way through works really well for some people.
Yeah.
But it's just those systems are in place for everybody.
Yeah.
And like, I know we've both struggled with that, haven't we? With it as a creative person, sometimes you want to follow what your
heart is calling rather than... Yeah. And we're not going to be bashing the system.
No.
Because like, the system is wrong, which it is. But for some people, I think it works very well. Like, so we think some people are really happy in that 9 to 5. They're really comfortable. They go to uni, they study this, then they get a perfect job, and then they've got that, and then they've got a house, and then it's security, isn't it? And you've got this, and then you're settled.
Yeah, and whatever path you choose to make in your life is the path you are meant to.
Yeah, it's not wrong.
There's no right or wrong ever. And I think some people, they don't feel they need to break free from that because they're quite content living that sort of lifestyle.
Which is completely fine.
I wish I could be like that.
Yeah, which is what we talked about in our other podcast. It's like if you're there, you're there. Like, don't try and change it. But we're more talking about the sense of so many people have this inner calling, this inner pull towards something, and they repress it and they shut it down because they're like, oh, shut up. Like, they don't know what that voice is. They're like, what is that voice? I want to go and do this, but I'm not sure what it is. And they stop it because it's not what society tells them to do. And because we're so entrained in this conditioned society, it's like, I can't break free from that because what's going to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
What's going to happen if I do?
And we think that because there's society things in place that we can sort of sometimes cling on to, we think that's security. And it's not necessarily security.
Yeah, security is a massive thing.
Yeah,
why do people keep themselves trapped in this thing? Because it's secure and they get money and they get a house and they've got the foundations. And I think we're in a world like where people act off scarcity and you don't want to be scared. You don't want to feel like you don't know where your next like check's going to come from, like how you're going to pay your bills. And then so society has us in this system where like you do this and then you get a monthly bill and then and then you pay your rent and you get this income and it keeps people in a very nice, like, little system at the top. But I feel like more and more people are just falling very far away from that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's, if you do have bills to pay, everyone has bills to pay, as an adult, you've got to live, you've got to survive. Sometimes you have to do those jobs. I mean, even like we're both creative people, but so far on our journeys, we've both had side jobs.
You work the side job more than you work the acting.
Oh, yeah. I think
I'm sick of the pub. I'm sick of the pub.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I think since I left school, I've had like 15 non-acting jobs because every time I'd get a job, I'd get fired because I was like, can I have 2 months off, please? And they're like, well, no.
Are you joking?
Yeah. Excuse me. So it's like, it is hard because you do have to do those things, but it's, as long as you've got a piece working towards the other stuff that is more towards your true calling, sometimes that's enough to just lean into.
Yeah. And I think being a creative, you're already one step ahead because you've already broken free from the confines of normal society because the amount of stories you hear, like I told my mum I wanted to be an actor and they were like, no, you need to go to you need to go study medicine. You're already breaking free from that confine because you followed, like, you've had that little speak inside of you that tells you want to go and do something else. It's just about now following that through. I mean, you didn't go to drama school, did you?
No, I didn't. No, what did I do? I sort of had like a few little theatre jobs locally and stuff, and I just loved the work itself, and obviously that's a privilege to get the work. But I had some people that helped me with those first steps, and that just went so far. And I know I'm really, really lucky to have had that situation where I just sort of was like, I always intended to go to drama school, but part of me was like not sure.
I was the same.
I don't know if I want to. I can't, like
3 years. And not, because if you're in drama school, it's so tricky to then go and actually be practical and work on a film set. Because drama school is strict. They don't let you miss lessons to go and like work on a short film or something like that.
It's not bubble, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not deemed as that. But I was exactly the same. I was like,
you didn't go either, did you?
No, I mean, I auditioned and I got into none. So yeah, I auditioned for like 6 or 7 and I got into none, and I was like, okay. But I mean, you're young, and I think I was 18 when I auditioned, and there's a lot of other factors that come into it. But that's the biggest blessing, that I got into none.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I got into it, I think my path would be very different. And I worked in those years where I would have gone to drama school. I worked same as you, like 10 acting jobs, which it doesn't sound like a lot in the space of 3 years, but if you know, that's a lot for getting work. But I had the same. I was like, I just don't think drama schools, as much as everyone's saying, right, after college, you were really pushed towards, they helped you to try and audition for drama schools and things, and that's what you were pushed towards. And I was like, okay, it's drama school I'm going to. And then a little part of me was like, actually, no, I want to go and create my own kind of narrative.
Yeah, and it's not about the literal thing of drama school or no drama school. It's about, you had the guy, like something in you that said, I don't know if that's for me, and you followed it. So it's not about like the literal thing. It's just about, if you have like a little inkling that might not be the path for you, it's having like the confidence to follow that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is easier said than done.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I've spoken to a lot of friends who are in corporate jobs, and like they hate it.
Yeah.
And you know, the amount of people, you hear the stories of people in corporate jobs and they want something else. They're like, oh, I'm in this like banking job or something, but there's something within me that really wants to create this business of I don't know, of selling shoes or something, or creating this like online work and things, and they are too scared to. They're too scared to jump into that. But there's an inner voice calling them to. Why would you ignore that? Like, I think us being at the point that we're at in our like spiritual journeys, we're like, why would you ignore that inner voice?
Yeah.
But a lot of people do ignore it because they're like, where has this come from?
Yeah.
What's this voice?
And sometimes it's like, you have the voice, you know what you kind of want to do, but you just don't know where to bloody start. How do I do this? Or how do I actually, because you have got to work this other job so that you can keep getting your bills in, but then you also you're getting cold over here. So it's like, how do you divide up your time to do that? Like, that's actually quite hard.
Then what leads you to burnout?
Yeah.
The hustle.
Yeah, because that's what happened to you,
isn't it? That's exactly what happened to me. Because my shifts in the pub were like 7 a.m. till 3 p.m, or 3 p.m. till 12 o'clock at night. So that was 8 hours of the day. So the time before that, I'd be working on acting. I'd literally wake up until 3 p.m. and work on acting. Or if I had a shift at 3 o'clock, like start in the morning, I'd be working once I finished. I'd be working after 3 o'clock, and it's exhausting. You feel like I was working 50-hour days.
Didn't you?
And I went to the gym. The gym got another story. I was like, the gym. I think I was using it all just felt like work. I was like, work. And my brain couldn't keep up. My body couldn't keep up with all that my brain was doing. And I literally got burnt out because I was obsessed with hustle culture. Because I feel like I could talk about this for ages. I feel like we're entrained from such a young age to work. And if you're not working, if you're not making results, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. Rest is so foreign to people.
Yeah. It's seen as like a negative thing, or like, oh, you need to rest. Like it's a...
Yeah. Oh, you've earned that rest. That's my worst saying that someone said to me, you've earned rest. Rest isn't something that needs to be earned.
No.
You are in your right to rest whenever point you want to rest. You don't need to go to the gym to then have that rest, or do an 8-hour shift to then rest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's our natural state of being.
Your body deserves that now. Like, you need to have the roundness. Like, yes, you will need to work and things, but you need the balanced lifestyle of having plenty of rest, like a good diet, all of these things. which is obviously hard to maintain, like keep all of the balls in the air. It is hard, but
it's like juggling.
But if you're not valuing the rest, then you're not going to be able to juggle the rest of it. You know, you can drop a ball.
We know for ourselves how important health is. And if you've got people do all this stuff and they hustle and they literally work themselves into an early grave, but then they've achieved all this stuff that society is like, oh, amazing, you've achieved, well done. But their health is in shatters.
Yeah.
So if you've got your health, which you know very well, if you haven't got your health, you've got nothing.
Nothing.
Which is what we then worked. I just think the systems in society are so wrong. Sadly, I don't think it values rest as much as it values results and
definitely not
goals. And you've done this, well done. Hustle culture. I mean, pain is gain is like my worst phrase as well. And because I get it to a sense, but should we be having to put ourselves through so much pain to get this gain of whatever it is?
Yeah, and like it's difficult, isn't it? Because sometimes we associate doing something well with beating yourself to death, and I've done this many times. Like I'm like, I need to give my absolute all to this.
High achiever.
And that's fine. Like, it's good to be passionate. It's good to bring inspiration into whatever you're doing. And that can sometimes give you energy as well. That can help you sometimes. But it's just when that balance isn't quite there, that sort of mindset can absolutely just burn you out.
But it's from like school. Like if you did really well in school, you get the sticker. If you went the extra mile in school, you got to go out for an extra 15 minutes at playtime or something. And I think that's great because it teaches people like if you do good things, you get results. But then some people hold on to that and take that through with them, like in their teens and in their 20s of like, I need to do the best. Like the best is only good enough. And that's the system that society has us in to build up. I don't think it caters for people who just want to like wave through life, just want to like go like silly and just follow their calling. But then it's because there's no security, like it all comes back to security. There's no security with following a calling that doesn't have like a set amount of money coming in every month because that's very much an actor's life. You don't know what job you're going to work and how much money it's going to get you.
No. Yeah, exactly.
But it's just there's like so much to talk about with it. But I think obviously society has these rules in place, and I feel like now more than ever people are creeping out of that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think people are starting to go, hang on a minute, this isn't really...
They're waking up to like an illusion of like look how many digital nomads there are. I mean, in Bali, you see them everywhere. We walk into a coffee shop and everyone's there like with their laptops and working and stuff.
Yeah. But how did you get like the confidence to... Because with my situation, I was sort of forced into this position. You know, I had to put my career on hold because I was physically unable to do it. Whereas for you, that was like... And I know career's not fully on hold, but just to take a step away from the norms of what you know your life to be. How did you like actually get the strength to do that? Because I'm really like, I admire that a lot. I don't know if I would have had the strength to do that, honestly.
Yeah, I think because like in my room, I'm like, I was manifesting and I was like, I'm going to get an acting job in 2 weeks that's going to like land me a lead role, and then I'm going to work ever like for the rest of my life. And you fall into this delusion like it's really scary and you think it needs to happen now or never. I think it was the hardest battle between like my head and my heart. Like my head knew, right, I need to go to London and I need to set my acting self there, like work a part-time job again, which I was doing at home anyway, and then get loads of acting jobs and that will be all dandy and then I'll be fine. But my heart was going, stop, like just slow down. You know what, it was because my calling for coming out to Bali and learning about myself and healing myself and sharing like wisdom like this was stronger than my calling to carry on with the acting. And that's something my ego did not want to hear.
Yeah.
Because my ego was like, no, you're an actor. You're an actor, go like stay acting.
Yeah.
But I could feel my heart, and this is from tuning into my intuition and knowing what my intuition says to me. It was going, you need to go to Bali. And we say a lot of the time, if you don't follow your inner calling, universe or life will force you to follow your inner calling. And I find it quite funny because I know what would have happened if I stayed in and did the London thing. I would have got no jobs, no auditions would have come in, because that would have been the wrong choice for me, and universe would be going, nuh-uh.
Or you would have got loads and been absolutely burnt out even more.
Completely.
And your health would have just like, your body would have said no.
Yeah, and I think you're rewarded for following that inner all that you had. Like, it was the most thing of just telling all my friends, I'm going to Bali, and they're like, well, what's the acting scene like in Bali? And I'm like,
it's great. Yeah.
It's really good. I mean, they have a couple of soaps, and I was like, obviously it's non-existent. And people think of this identity for you of like an actor, and then when you go and do that, they're like, well, she's put her career, like her career's gone now.
Yeah.
And that's what my ego thinks. It's like, oh God, it's gone now. Because the acting industry does wait for no one, but it comes to you when the time is right.
And I think it's like that thing we were talking about of tending to your own garden. Like,
I love the saying, what's
such a nice quote.
Like, this is my art.
Yeah, you can, instead of chasing butterflies, focus on building a garden that's nurtured, that has great plants in it, whatever, that attracts the butterflies.
And the butterflies will come to you.
The butterflies will come if you're focused on the garden.
Yeah.
Rather than chasing after them with a big net, like, just focus on the garden.
Which is that, feel like your own. I love that, because the most magical things come in when you don't expect them. Like, as an actor, the most funniest thing you would hear as a creative as well is like, if you want a job, book a holiday.
Yeah. And then you'll get yourself
countless times, because it's the one time where you forget about, I need an audition, because you're thinking, you know what, I'm going to let go now. I'm on holiday. Like, let me relax. First day into your holiday, a self-tape pops up. If you've got an audition for this, and it's like, the one day I wanted to relax, but why? Because your energy's off it. You're not needy and you're not attached to it.
And like, the feeling of need, that's a repulsive force that literally it breaks up the creative flow of life. Like, if you're needing something, if you're desperate for something, that energy is not going to attract anything you want.
You've got to think of the relationship with the universe as like as a partner, as literally a romantic. The more you're like dun dun dun, the more the universe is like, whoa, this is too heavy. But if you pull back, the universe just pulls to you. And it sounds really wacky, but it's so true, isn't it?
And like Matthew McConaughey, I love watching his podcasts. They just get me so inspired. And he was saying that he really wanted an agent.
Right.
And there was this guy that was going to help him get a meeting for an agent. And the guy was like, they're going to eat you alive. Like, you need it too much. And he was like, go away, go travel with your friends in Europe. Like, and he went like backpacking in Europe or something. I don't know if I'm saying the story exactly as he said it, but he went away for a while. He came back. And he went for dinner with that guy. And he wasn't even thinking about an agent. And the guy went, you're ready. I've got you a meeting tomorrow. And he went in, and it was cool, because his life was, because he had other stuff. He was happy as he was.
Yeah.
So anything would have been an addition to that, rather than desperately, like, you know, you sit in the meeting and you're like, oh God, what? I need to say the right things. I need to sit. And it's like, when you're just cool, it's like,
with whatever happens,
things are just more in alignment. Everything's a bit more flowy, a bit more creative.
Yeah. And to do that, you've got to, all comes back to follow your inner voice. Don't follow what society tells you to do. Your inner voice knows. Like, there's ways the universe channels through you, speaks to you through your intuition. Everyone's got an intuition. Like, some people are in touch with it and some people aren't. If you're in touch with it, you'll know. Like, I know whenever my inner voice talks to me, that's like universe talking to me. That's guiding me towards something. Which is why it just kept saying to me, Bali, Bali, Bali. And the funniest thing is, I remember saying to you, I was like, I don't know if it's the whole like red car theory, think of a red car and then a red car comes up. But as soon as I decided, right, like Bali, I know I'm going to go to Bali, everything, I would just like pull up I'd go on my phone, and the first thing that would pop up would be like this girl on TikTok talking about, oh, I'm in Bali right now. And I'd message you and I'd be like, Evie, I'm just getting signs left, right and centre to go to Bali. And it's kind of like confirmed me. I was like, this is the right thing. And also I felt so calm doing it. I was like, okay, this is the right decision. But I still have days now when my ego is literally like,
do you out here?
Yeah. My ego's like, you should be in London.
I'm an actor, what am I doing?
Yeah, I'm an actor, what am I doing? And then you see people online booking jobs and things, and you're like, if I was out there right now, then I'd be getting jobs as well. Chances are you wouldn't, because you're meant to be here. And this is what you really helped me with the other day, because I had a bit of a like wobble, and I was like, I don't know whether to fully put my career on hold or like carry on with my career. And you were saying, if something's meant for me in this like period of 6 months or however long I stay for, then I would have been in the UK to receive it. But nothing is going to come in acting wise in this next 6 months because I'm meant to be in Bali.
But if it does, then that was meant to come in for you.
Then that was meant to come in.
But you're not you're not like, you know, with your binoculars looking for
searching. Yeah,
you're doing your thing, and I think, you know, and obviously you can still have the opportunities come in and things, and you know, our agent working for you.
We've got the best. We have the same agent as well.
We do.
Lucy.
Shout out to Lucy.
Shout out to Lucy, because she's honestly the most
an angel.
She supports so much people stepping outside of of the normal way you're meant to do. Like, I know countless agents who would be like, oh, you're going away? Okay, well, you're off my books then.
Yeah.
Like, you're gone. But Lucy, Atia's management is just...
She values you filling your cup and making sure you're well, and in all aspects.
Yeah. And so if you go and do the unconventional, she'll still be there to support you, because she knows it's a long journey and you'll come back to it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, things will come back and open up, and you'll always be rewarded. You will always be rewarded for following your truth.
Yeah.
There's no world in which you wouldn't.
And it comes back to that thing of life being a game. Like, if you're creating your life, you know, I'm thinking, what should I do like this month? You know, if this year for you is more, this is the season of my life where I'm in Bali and I'm doing this, that and the other, then that's your season. It doesn't mean you won't have an acting season again. You know, things can change so quickly. It's crazy how you can, if you got the money there, you can book a flight home at any point and go home and go to London.
If my intuition suddenly changes and, I don't know, next month, like, hopefully it doesn't, but suddenly goes, you need to be in London, I'd hear that calling and I'd go, something needs me in London, something, I need to go to London.
Yeah.
Stop. The more you ignore that inner voice that's calling you to do something, your external circumstances will change so that you're forced to listen to that inner voice. It will literally, like, literally hit you like a bus.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go and do this.
Absolutely. And like your intuition, usually if you're thinking, how do I hear my soul? How do I understand what I actually want?
Because that's what so many people are going to be knowing. How do I hear it? Which we will probably do an episode on.
Yeah, definitely. And it can be curiosity, gut feeling, all of these things, and synchronicities, as you've said.
Yeah.
But also we wanted to mention The Artist's Way. If you're a creative and you haven't
this book
done, I was going to say read the book, but you do the book. It's like an actionable
you do the book.
I did it last year. And
you recommended it to me.
I recommended it to you, and then you've done it recently.
I've done it recently. I literally finished the last chapter like before I came out.
Oh my gosh.
To Bali.
What did you get from it? Tell me everything.
Like a changed life. I messaged you. My life changed. Julia Cameron, Artist's Way, like, my life changed. I had done stuff. I pushed myself out into boats that I would not have pushed out into if I had not have read that book. And I remember constantly being like to you, thank you for giving me this book. Like, this book changed my life. It's for any creatives or anyone who just has
we're all creatives.
We're all creatives. This is,
Think of children. They're always painting. They're always dancing. They're moving around. They're just looking at things.
Yeah. Everyone's a creative.
Yeah. We learn to not be creative in life sometimes.
Everyone's like posted, I don't know, like a tweet or a Facebook post or an Instagram thing, like, I'm sure, unless you like literally live under a rock, but you've then created something. That's great. Like, even if it's like a hate thing, which hopefully it shouldn't be, and you've typed something, you've created something, you've used your vessel to create something. You've been a creative, and we are all creatives at heart. And that book, like, picking up that book, I just felt like I went into a different dimension, and I was like, oh my God, I just read it, and it gives you actionable steps of what to take and how to really align yourself with the highest version and kick out of society's confinements of like, you need to do this. It says, if you have an inner calling to create, go and create. And I mean, I started like a little TikTok like series, which in my head, I was like, I want to start a series of
I'm so proud of you.
I know, I was like giving advice out to people and being like really like spiritual and stuff, but something was holding me back, and I was like, I'm not ready yet. And I started reading the book, and it just told me, it gave me the tools to just go and do it. And I did. And it's the best thing that happened, because then this happened, and it gives you little actionable steps you can take and just plants. I feel like it plants seeds.
Yes.
In your head. Like, I remember it says, what's 10 things you want to do? And the funniest thing I was telling you is that things that were on there was like, cut my hair, because I'd never changed my hair because I'm an actor and I've got a headshot and I look like this. And then I got bangs eventually, like after, this was a few weeks after writing this list. Another thing was move countries. This was before Bali. This was in December last year.
When did you finish this book? A month?
It took me 6 months to read this book.
Oh, really?
Because I was going so slowly. I read it and then I went through each chapter really slowly.
That's the best way to do it, though.
Yeah. So I wrote this list of things I wanted to do in December and move countries, but it's things like I wanted to do but never thought could be possible. And move countries was on there. I think start a podcast. I'd love to get it up and like find it and just see what it was. And then I looked back at it like before I came out to Bali, and move countries was on there, and I was like, that's literally like what I've done. And just it just ignites something in you. And like you say, it's planting a seed. It's not like you've written a list and then you're going through your list doing these things. No,
you write the list, you put it to the side, but it's planted those seeds in you.
The funniest thing is universe responds. Universe makes it happen.
Yeah. And like even us coming together and doing this podcast, I just think that's such a beautiful thing. We did not force this together at all.
At all.
Like we're on very different journeys. I'm here anyway.
Yeah.
And you didn't come to Bali to go, oh, Evie's in Bali, so I'll come and do a podcast with her. You're here for your own journey. Yeah. It just happens to be that we're in the right place.
Yeah. And it's such a tricky situation where like your life might be forced to go elsewhere like next week. Like you don't know where you can be. And so the fact that you happen to be in Bali just as I happen to come out.
Amazing.
It's like we both knew we had this inner calling to share something and do something, and it's just been like guided that way. And I think I have so many quotes from that book, but one of the best one is like, take the leap and the net will appear.
Yes. Action. Sometimes we wait for the feeling to then act on it. It's that you've got to act it, then you'll get the feeling. Like you'll do the thing. It'll give you confidence. It might inspire you. There's so much that can come from just taking action, even if it's scary, like you're saying. Feel the fear and do it anyway. We literally said that before we did the first episode.
Yeah,
feel the fear, do it anyway. And that's like so many beautiful things can come from that, and it can be the start of a chain reaction of I acted, I felt great, which made me want to act more, which then made me, you know.
And that book is very spiritual as well. But what it does is it tries to stop you seeing God or universe or whatever you call it, a higher power, as scary as this giver and taker. Because I think a lot of people think of God or they think of universe and they think of someone standing at a door with a cross and going, you can't enter, like, no, as soon as you do this, I'm going to do, this is wrong for you and stuff. But it makes you like go hand in hand with the creator. He created you, and just work with them. And the funniest things is it tells you that as soon as you just make an action and you decide what you want to do, they say like you control the what you want to do, and universe will sort out the how. Because we think we need to sort out the how. We're like, well, how's it going to happen? How's it going to happen? Take the action and the how will fall into its place all of itself. I feel like I'm regurgitating the book now. But
it's helpful. I've not heard it in like a year. And it's
a chunky book. I wish I brought it out here, but it's chunky. Yeah. Like kilos on my weight would be way too much.
We could buy one and share it.
Yeah,
out here. But just it's amazing stuff.
Universe will make if you take that action and follow your inner calling, you will be rewarded every single time.
Yes, and an interesting part of that book, so there's 1 week that I remember really well that's super hard, where you have to have a week off from consuming things.
Oh, God.
Oh, my days. Like, I love a podcast. I love a book. I love
ground podcast.
Give me as much information. And it's basically, in order for creativity to, like, come into you, you need to have a bit of silence. You need to create that space.
Yeah.
And like even going on a walk, and instead of listening to music or a podcast, just go for a walk. And it's crazy how ideas will just land in your head.
Yeah.
Because you've given the space for that to happen.
That's just made me think as well, which is why I think a lot of people don't follow that. If they're in like a really busy corporate job or something, they don't follow that inner calling because they're so stimulated with outside stuff going on. Like, I'm even bad for that, like pulling up Instagram. I'm like, I don't need to be on Instagram, or like putting a podcast in when I go on a walk. I'm like, no, just go. Because if you think about it, if you want to channel from the creator and from the divine, how are you going to do that if you have all these external stimulations? If you have something in your ears playing like Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, I listen to that all the time. If that's blasting in your ears, how do you expect to receive ideas in your head?
And sometimes like I let myself off because I think I'm being productive.
Yeah. You're like, no, it's a podcast. You're productive.
You know, like when you make a list for your list, or like you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that thing, but I'm going to make sure I've actioned it and spend a lot of time writing it to do. And it's like, just get on with it.
Just do it.
Yeah, do the thing.
It's scary, and because you stand out and you're not doing the norm, but every time you'll be rewarded. Like, I feel like my brother's a really good example. He didn't go to uni or college or anything, and he originally said to us when he was like 13, he was like, I want to build a business like on YouTube and online and making videos. And me, my mum and my dad were literally laughing at him and were like,
really?
No, you can't do that. I was like, how stupid do you think you can be, thinking you can make money online, like with all digital marketing and things like that. And fast forward like 8 years later, whatever, he is a year younger than me, and he has like one of a really successful business. And he did that himself by not following the norms of going to finance school or whatever. He did that himself, of following his calling of, I'm going to stay in and I'm going to channel my creativity into this work and whatever he does. I'm really sorry, Callum, I still don't know what you do. It's something to do with...
What's your job description?
Social media. It's not social media marketing. It's something to do with social... I don't know. I'm not even going to say it because I'm going to get blasted.
That's amazing that he had that calling and followed it.
Despite us, his like own family being like, that will never happen. Like, my dad was like, that, you be realistic. Like, you need to go to school to get a job. You need to do this. And he was like, no, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
And now he's making ridiculous money and really successful.
Yeah, and like we said in another episode, some people won't necessarily support what you want to do. So that inner calling, I think it's a good idea to keep it to yourself for a bit, because if you air it, like when you first get the idea, if you air it and tell someone and then they shut it down straight away, that can literally cut it off. Yeah, it could have been for you, like it could have been something.
Could have been, yeah. And also other people's ideas get in the way of it infiltrates what you were going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought we'd just say about the name, because we had the
Okay, yeah.
Tell about the name for this podcast.
So we were trying to pick a name. We had it all brainstormed out, didn't we? We'd been like thinking for a while, and then we came together and we're like, right, here's our names. For whatever reason, we just really liked Diving Deep. We were drawn to it. Yeah, we really liked it.
Felt right in my whole body. I was like, yeah, this is.
And like, we liked the others, but that one we kept coming back to it.
Yeah.
And then we shared it. So Carver, you asked your family, and I asked my family.
I put it in the family group chat.
And they both came back and
it's so funny.
They both came back and said, like, diving deep into what? Like, they thought it was like a dirty saying, which
they thought we were like doing some very
down below
dodgy.
If it is,
please let us know if you now think diving deep is, now we've told everyone it's now dodgy and it's like a really dodgy podcast.
Yeah, but
my dad was like, you're starting like a porno thing, and I was like,
that's what my mum said. She's like, it sounds like a porno. I was like, well, yeah, but I was like,
it actually couldn't be further away from a porno if we tried. Like, it's so wholesome.
They're gonna be disappointed, I think.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, the whole point is, so both our families, hilariously, your parents said that as well and were like, absolutely not. And mine were like, yeah, no, I wouldn't go with diving deep. Like, it just sounds really dodgy.
Yeah.
All my family voted for every single other thing that we had. We had like Soul Speaks or something, and like very just different ideas. And that kind of crushed us, because we were like,
it hurt.
Really?
Like, not lots, but it was just like a bit of a kick. It was like, oh, they don't like
They don't like diving deep.
The one we like. And then but then the next like couple of days, we just were still.
It would not leave my inner like knowing in my gut. We woke up every morning and we'd look at each other across from the balcony and we'd be like, "Do you still like diving deep?"
Yeah, we'd be like, "Yeah."
We'd be like, "Yeah, we do. Like we really like this."
So we like it, even if no one else.
Yeah, and I feel like the point is, we needed like that external validation of someone to go, "Yeah, I like that name of the podcast." We didn't get that, but we did it anyway.
Yeah,
we just went, okay, well, they don't like it. Well, that's fine. I'll still carry on because I like it, because that's the name that I like.
And not getting that like approval from them actually was the thing that showed us how much we like it.
Yeah, I say this all the time. Like, I am such a person who asks every single person for their advice and will not take it, because sometimes I need someone else to tell me their advice so that it rings with me what I should actually do. Because if I was to, I mean, you're a bad example, because anything you tell me I'd be like yeah, because we're so connected. If I was to ask someone and they give me an advice and it's not what I want to hear, that actually like activates my inner voice so much more, going, no, I really want to stick with this. And it's the whole, don't follow what anyone else tells you to do, because you know. And I've had countless times where I've followed what someone else has done or something, or I don't know, like wanted to go to this restaurant but followed someone else saying, oh, let's go to this one, and I'd had the worst time ever at that restaurant. And I just know if I'd have followed that intuition to go to there, the best thing would have happened.
Yeah, exactly. And if even if you're not telling someone, you can also flip a coin and go heads, and then if it lands on tails and you feel disappointed, then it's like, okay, well, heads is the answer then.
Heads is the answer,
Yeah. And it's like, I've had this before where I've been like needing to go and do like a night out or something, and I know I don't really want to, but I'm like, I should, it might be fun, whatever, and I'll go. I'm always taught
you had the worst
it's
time.
not like the worst time, but I will be like, there'll be a moment in the night where I'm like, I wish I was at home in bed with my books.
I mean, like, that's me 24/7 anyway, but I know what you mean. Yeah.
So it's interesting how you get taught instantly.
And then I think that teaches you for future, because you kick yourself, and that feeling's horrible of knowing, I wish I would have followed my gut feeling for that. But then you know for next time, the inner voice kind of, it gets stronger. Like, you think the more you like ignore it, the quieter it will get. No, the louder it will get. And then you know for next time, actually, I can differentiate between what my inner voice is and what society's telling me to do, and just do it anyway, because the most beautiful things happen when you follow that inner just pull towards something. Just stop trying to please everyone and follow this natural way of working, because it's great, but I feel like paradigms are falling apart where it's not like, I imagine what it's like going to be like in 50 years, don't you?
All the time.
Are we going to be following the government and still the rules that they have and stuff, because people are finding comfort elsewhere, not in society's expectations.
Exactly.
But I mean, it'd be a long journey. It'll be a long.
It's a long ways to go.
Just need people to wake up to it.
But I think, like, for creatives especially, it's just I think it's just about finding space so that I mean, identities is a whole other episode, and like attachment to things and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like, if I identify like as an actor, but it's like I'm also a person, and like, what else have I got?
Yeah.
You know, when I'm not acting, I'm super sad. Well, not anymore, but like when I was in the race, I'd have down periods when I'm quiet, and it's like I started creating my own work, and suddenly I'm like, I'm actually just generally a little bit happier during this period, or like, even just hanging out with other creative people, or just getting more strings to your bow.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be the thing that's linked to your career. It can be
it's something else.
Creative. That
if you want to start a YouTube channel, a podcast, don't be scared because you don't know where it's going to lead you. Like, we both don't know. We're not working. If we don't know where our next, how long we can afford to stay out here for, but we really trust in our hearts that we're going to be supported because we're following our inner calling.
Yeah.
So part of my ego is worried, like, well, how long are you going to afford to stay out here because you're not working? But I'm like, universe has got it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how, but universe has got it. It's fine. I trust.
So it's just trusting.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we could. Yeah.
We could talk all of these topics. We could talk about
hours.
I swear.
Yeah.
But that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, share, like, anything.
Yeah. Share with fellow creatives as well, because they might be in the same boat as you and really need that. Kind of, this could be the kick they need to go and do that thing that they were thinking of.
And if you're feeling a bit lost or a bit disconnected right now, like, just reach out, connect. We'd love to,
because we're actually launching something, aren't we? We have a Facebook group which will be called the Diving Deep Community, which we really want people to come on and join and kind of be a part of a family and share experiences with us and find like-minded people, because this is a very isolating journey, not just the spiritual one, but just in general. Like, people are isolated, and so if we can help people find comfort and solace in sharing stories with other people, knowing that there's people like them, we're gonna host some exciting things, maybe like weekly Zooms and stuff, and get your ideas for things as well, because we want to make the podcast as accessible to everyone and relatable.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and if there's anything that you want us to have a chat about, either on the podcast or in the Zoom, in the community, like, we would love to hear from you as well, like what you're struggling with or what you're thinking about, and just start a bit of a discussion and see what we can all
weave together to create. You learn from other people.
Exactly.
You're never that on top that you know everything.
No.
There's still so much more to learn, and we feel like everyone putting in their own experiences and how they deal with this, it just helps people in the smallest ways.
Yeah, exactly. So join the Facebook community.
A link below, probably.
Yeah, there'll be a link. Also follow us on Instagram and TikTok, because we'll post like a lot of updates of when we're posting episodes and things like that. We're going to be posting every Tuesday and Friday.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're not sure when we'll do the Zooms yet, but if you join the community, that will all be clear.
Even if we've got 2 people on it, we will still be doing Zoom.
We will still be
just
Zooming. Us two having a chat.
Just be us
meditating and
just be meditating. We should do meditations together.
Yeah,
you know,
anything, whatever people want, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, thanks,
I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you next time.